humpday, 9:04 Eastern Standard Time. The Cornbread Man coming in for a landing. And we are landed. Hey, it's good to be here. God bless you all. Been away for 2 days, I think it's been. And it's good to be here. I've been taking care of a lot of stuff behind the scenes, taking time for me. It's been a rough go, and I just took a break. So, not that I wanted to be away, I just needed to be away. And so I'm back, and I've told you that I would be amping up the shows, and we are. Been getting a lot of stuff done behind the scenes. Of course, there's a lot of things I'm working on that have nothing to do with the podcast, but I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes that do. We are live tonight on Substack. Our Substack, we finally got that up. We have only a few followers, so there's no one in there but me right now, but it looks great. That's a nice addition to the podcast family. The network, I call it now, the Wolf Nation network of stations. The QR code up above my head, whichever way that is. I can never tell. We'll do it on screen. To you, it might be the different side. But the one over the wolf's face, how dare it? That's the one for that. The other one's Buy Me a Coffee. We have some supporters there that help us that way. We appreciate it. Substack will be, in the very near future, exclusive programming. Some we'll be putting behind the paywall. That's to advance the podcast. Got big plans, got big dreams. Takes a little bit bigger money. Don't worry, there's plenty of free. So you say, I can't afford that. Well, it's only $5 a month. But if you can't, don't worry, there's plenty of free. We will have some exclusive things there, though, that's not seen anywhere else in the very near future. Show development is ongoing. Ideas, expansions, extension to interviews, things that you won't hear anywhere else. So anyway, it's good to be here. Thanks for your prayers. It's been a blessed day. It's been a blessed, every day has its blessings. Thank the Lord. We do have so many blessings that come at us. And we are really just thankful that we can be a help to someone else. I'm going to pray for a dear friend of mine. Her grandfather is having some health issues. We prayed in the parking lot at the local food store. And, sometimes you just need a hug and you need a prayer. We was able to do both of those. So pray for the grandfather, Johnny. I understand he's a military man. A lot of military men in the family. Served his nation in the Air Force. Pray for them. They would appreciate it. We understand, obviously. Pray for my family. There's a couple of folks online that lost their spouse. Don't know them, although we're friends on Facebook somewhere along the way. Pray for them. Devastating to them. It's always devastating. Some people going through some surgeries. We're going to begin back this week on Sunday afternoons, our prayer time. And I did that many, many moons ago. Kind of got away from it. Some things got busy, and I wasn't able. I'm going to say I wasn't able. We got away from it. We're going to start that back. We'll do it before we do other programming, such as Wolf Nation Sports, which is going to be kicking into high gear. We've been doing a lot of Wolf Nation Sports, but we're going to be all the things that you see us put out about the nightlies and all that. That's coming. It's coming. It's not that it's not. I know that there's been times that I haven't been here, but you understand. This has been a tough time for my family. It's a tough time for me. Sometimes I just don't got it. Just don't got it. I just don't got it. And that's unusual for me, but I've rested more. I have spent some time reading. I've been doing some stuff. I've spent some time just sleeping, trying to get myself, it was a very exhausting journey, and wanted to make sure that, we're giving time to those around us as well as for me. And we had Mother's Day. There was a lot going on. So I don't feel I need to make any kind of announcement to that. But just talking tonight. There's no this show tonight is Cornbread Man Live. It's just anything. I might talk sports. By the way, the Braves were tied 1-1. You know, against them Cubbies. They won last night. At least they were tied. They might be losing now. We might talk politics. We might talk life. We might talk music. We might talk a lot of stuff. That's what it's for. Just to do, just to have fun, and to be back on the air. Sometimes you just need that. No agenda. No big plan. Nothing I got to prepare for really heavily. I was checking that score to see if it was still holding. It's still 1-1. It's on top of the eighth. Pitching duel. First one the Braves have had in a bit. And yes, the Phillies went down to the Red Sox. You understand, that's the enemy, so I got to root against them. I don't hate the Phillies. Well, sometimes. But sometimes you just need to do a show. Sometimes you just need to do. And we're kind of we're resetting. I mean, we don't have any choice but to reset. Because it affects everybody in my circle. It affects everybody in my life, really. Things changing a little bit, and that will amoeba into different things. Some things we put on the back burner for a little bit because we just couldn't get to them. They were not ever intended to be there forever. Put on the shelf, so to speak, but not put away in the box. You pack away things. This is not packed away. It's on the shelf. So what are some of those things? Well, our lives from Street Side. We're going to get back to that soon, within the next week or so. We've just had some other things that's popped up as well, but me and Biscuit Boy and others, we're going to be Street Side again. Our videos from around town, historical places, all sorts of stuff. All that's coming back soon. I just happen to have a little time. Our invitation to do the live from the bookstore, the Book and Barrel there in Ringgold. They're doing great. We're going to go back, re-engage with them, and we're going to start doing that. I'm not sure where it's going to fit in at, but it will fit in. Got to look at their hours, look at ours, but we have an invitation to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to, part of our getting out and doing things live, we're going to be doing lives in lots of places, not just in front of Caffeine Addicts. We thank them for their support of, us being there, and they're great friends, great people. Love their, love their coffee, love the history there of the little town and the store and all that. But other places, we're going to be in locales, and we'll do our best live with a local. Our Wi-Fi is pretty good, but everyone has, with something like that, it hiccups a little bit. But we'll do our best. We were able to do it, so we know we can do it. Expanded operations here at the studio, the Wolf Nation and Cornbread Nation studios. Newer equipment. Not that there's anything wrong with what we have. We're just growing. And so there'll be more mics, more lights, probably another computer, things that we need to do just to grow. And to, again, get ready for a lot of things we want to kick off and get into in the near future. Hello, Cowboy Cook. Pray for Crystal Johnson. You got it, brother. You got it. So you heard that. Pray for Crystal Johnson. My boy's texting with me. And so if you see me look down, I'm not trying to ignore you. He will appear, maybe. There's a show that, and there's going to be some, and let me announce, I've got a new logo. This thing, First Light, I'm really excited about it. I just felt like God gave me that. Like I used to do a morning devotion, but this is a little bit different. It's not just like a quick thought. This is going to be for a few minutes. It's going to be recorded, not live at this time. There's reasons for that. We may go live later. It's called First Light. And it would be a hopefully daily, at least Monday through Friday. It could include the weekends. But it'll be part of that morning. You're rising up at First Light. We will schedule that to come in probably just before we go live with the morning show. Play before that or immediately afterwards. And it will be hitting on some topics. The first one, we already had one that we're going to get, hopefully in the morning we'll have our next one. That's the plan anyway. I'm going to get off of here early enough that can do that. First Light, and we already have some branding for that and stuff. Nothing crazy, but I like the look of it. First Light, wake up with Jesus. Something about the Word, something that's going to help you, something that is a topic that will help you. It's short. It's not going to be really long, but it'll be a little more. It'll be scripture. It'll be talking about life. It'll be talking about things that are affecting your day or could affect your day. And we all know it's profitable for everyone when we read the Word anyway. But it's First Light, and just a conversation. I'll have a lot of friends coming in on this. That's my intention. I'm going to have friends in. It's not just going to be me, although the first one, two, and here and there will be me. But I'm going to be speaking to people about coming on, and I want them to come on as often as they can to do these, because everybody has something that they can share about their life and where they're at right now. So many people are hurting. There's one thing I've seen. And I've just had so many blessings. Like I've been getting hugs in the food store parking lot from people I don't even know. And they're telling me about their situation. Fist bumps. Whatever. Hey man, I got you. I'm praying for you. I'm sorry. Just lifting each other up, seeing these people all the time. It's just really amazing. And that's what it's all about, and sharing, the love of Jesus and the gospel. But it's just really the contact point is just caring, just love, just humanity, just caring about people. The people are going through a lot. They're battling. They're fighting. This life is tough. If it ain't tough at your house right now, just wait. It's coming. Enjoy every day that you're not in a fight. But, most of us, we struggle. It's a great struggle. We have so many blessings, but we struggle so hard. I was talking to someone the other day, and they hadn't heard about my wife. And they were telling me about someone. I know we did caregiving for many months, and in the last 2 to 3 months, it was pretty intensive. I was talking to someone today that's been doing care for I think it's their father or mother. I think it was father, but over 3 years, dementia. That's a long time. That's a long time to be doing care for someone. But you do that because you love them. But it can drain you. And I think that for me, I'm not a young puppy anymore, although I can still run a little bit. Not really. I found out that I didn't realize how tired in many ways that I was, and I am still. But I'm getting me back a little bit, just the physical, emotional. There's going to be tough days and tough times. Absolutely. But I feel like today I felt like I was kind of back on. Now tomorrow may be a wreck, but today I'm good. And if anybody's watching that's been, one of my friends, acquaintances, family, whoever, y'all are all a blessing. Everything that everybody says is a blessing. Well, yesterday was a little tough. I don't know why. I was in a blah, a funk, and it was just a little bit difficult. And I just didn't feel really prepared to come on the air. So I did. So anyway, but me, I usually am live every day, multiple shows. I love it. And we will get back to that. We will. It's just going to take a little time. But most of the stuff is on board, all the sports. But I didn't do the morning shows the last couple of days. But amen, Cook. Help us, Jesus. Absolutely. But I probably said but too many times. Never said it again. But I am excited about the future. The podcast and the network, as I call it, are moving forward. And I hope that somebody finds something that they like. Whatever it is. If it's one thing, then if we've given you a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of something that you feel, it's like, I was thinking today, a lot of people don't understand when, like, somebody likes a group, a music group, or an actor, or whatever it is, a sports figure, could be anybody, anything, and they pass. And people are sad about that and crying. Some people are just insensitive. I don't see how you can even care about somebody like you don't know them and they like you hung out with them. Well, it's important to them and it means something. And I've felt that about certain things. And that way, we're kind of like that. There may be people that have viewed us from the time we've ever been around. They've never chatted. Some people are just not into that. They just like to watch. And there may be people out there that watch us often we've never heard from. If that person's you, I would just say thank you. You don't have to do that. It's nice for interaction, but sometimes some shows are not leaning to the chat. And you may have watched from afar and you just, you like sitting down, having a cup of coffee, listening to the crazy that we have going on here a lot of times. And if we can lighten your load, make you laugh a little bit, show, just you feel like, somebody cares, whatever, speaking to your spirit, then amen. That's what it's all about. Don't have to, we don't have to be recognized in any way. Just glad that you're here. Glad you stopped by. Glad it meant something. And when I did radio ministry, there's no telling, who was listening. You never heard from them. I rarely heard from anybody, but somebody was listening. The number said that somebody's listening. And if it was just one, that's all that matters. And we enjoy what we do if nobody was watching. And I do remember the days when nobody watched. Nobody was there. It's like an echo chamber. Hello, hello, hello. So we entertained ourselves. And I guess I would say that God gave me a lot of planning, a lot of training on this. Because I remember preaching many times at the church when there was only one or two. I just had fun. Let's go to worship. And there were times that I did way back in the day before we got a little technical. There were days that I recorded preaching at the pulpit in the church for on the old cassette tape or whatever to be dropped off at the studio. And that was challenging. Go to the sound room, hit record, go up and start right in. I had the mic on, so you start while you're headed back to the pulpit. And hey, Brusky, hey, buddy, I'm doing okay, man. I've been, as I was saying, I've been out a couple of days. I just wasn't with it, man. Just wasn't with it. I need a little time, man. I've been tired and taking care of stuff and trying to take care of stuff. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Not to belabor the point. I think it's helpful to people, in their own situation, not mine. I just think it's interesting things you notice. And maybe I'm a dummy. Maybe I've just never noticed, which I am a dummy. But, sometimes you haven't been through stuff. You see that. You don't see things, then you see it. So we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's fun to get on. It's fun to interact, and it's fun to just to do what we do, and we enjoy that. And we're excited about the future. As I was saying, there's lots of things we're planning. We're still trying to really catch up some things where we were working really hard. Amen. Well, that's what I've been doing, brother. That's what I've been doing. Now, yesterday we had meals at the plant, and I thought about coming on before I left, but I just really didn't. And I had some family around. It was a little tough to go in last night, not because I loved meeting them. I loved doing what we were doing. It was awesome, but it was I was in a weird mood. It hit me kind of hard yesterday. And, but I had so many people just blessing me there, but it was tough. Almost had to step outside. We'll say. But it was great to see people that knew what had happened, had heard about it, had come up, and were just, trying to be their best to be a blessing. And to me, the podcast or the media, the network, as I call it now, it's a therapy. I mean, it's fun to do, but some days, if you don't feel good or you're just not with it, I mean, it's laborious. It can be. It's like anything. You could enjoy hunting, but if you don't feel good, it'll get a little harder to climb up to the deer stand or whatever. I wasn't in a bad place. It just was a little bit blocked. And I just said, I'm going to rest. I'm going to take a break. I really have not. I really went so hard. We did not change too much. I mean, I pushed pretty hard through all that. And now the reset. And I felt like, I'm sitting back and listening to God and praying and thinking about how, what the future is. There's something. I mean, there's changes coming. Change has came, and changes will come. But God is so good. He assembled, he brought all these wonderful people in my life. Some of them I've known for a long time. They became a part of the podcast and this network we have, and it has been such a blessing to have them around. and we just keep each other laughing and encouraged. By the way, pray for Chaser's mom, Mom Potts. She has some things that they're looking at. She's okay, but they got some things they got to look at. And for her, he asked for prayer for her, so I'll say that. Pray for her. Mr. Cook, hi Dave, it's a fantasy football champ. I'm going for it. If you need to take time, you need. Yeah, and I have. I can be a stubborn guy, but I have. I have really enjoyed, and I don't. I think some people enjoy it, so I'll keep doing it. Is the daily stories that I tell, or story I tell at least one, called My Life with Lenny, and I've had a lot of people encourage me to continue doing that. That they love them, they're looking forward to them, and they love to read them. And I just posted. Actually, I was almost a little late getting on because I was putting up on it. In fact, my son messaged me and said, "Another story you got to tell." Salt of the earth, brother. I've met her several times. I can tell you, meeting her, phone conversations, their whole family is salt of the earth. They're the best of the best. And I'm just going to adopt her as my mom too. Mine's in heaven. And my mother-in-law, who is like my second mom, she's in heaven. And I just call her mom. She is wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and has been such a blessing to me. The whole family has Maureen and Dean and the whole family. They're awesome. So yeah, you gotta just meander through the fields and see where you're at. Hello, Watchman. God bless you. You just gotta, and I say, you push forward. But I've been taking time for that, time to, be around family, time to meditate, time to pray and read. And I say meditate, I mean meditate upon, listening to God. I don't mean like sitting in a corner. I don't do that. Meditate upon the word. Take time to. I'm a thinker anyway. I do a lot of thinking, a lot of analyzing and stuff, and just thinking through things. And I'm keeping up with everything that's going on. I'm reading more news than I've ever read. I'm trying my best to really use the time valuably and research and do some things, and also strategize, do some technical stuff behind the scenes, getting ready. I've been with all this, believe it or not, like I said, we're live. The other night was a test. We're live on our Substack. This is the first time. And hello, Amber. How are you? Hello. Yes, thank you. My niece, and God bless you. You're such a blessing coming on Instagram side. And, I posted a picture earlier, and I forget who gave me those. I didn't have them. I know I'd had them at one time. I don't know what's happened to them, but somebody gave me a picture, and it's my wife holding Jeremy as a baby. It's another one that I was given. And Jeremy said she favors her sister, Paulette, which is obviously your mom. And they did. They were closer in age, and they did favor a lot. They really did. And I miss her too. She was a big friend. She was not only family, she was a friend. I'm going to tell you something she told me. I won't set too much of the scene because I don't know. Maybe, hopefully the particulars are not there. When you come into a family, I probably, I'll just say it this way. When me and Lynn got together, I was going through a tough time. My mom and dad divorced. That's a whole nother story in itself. Lynn, my wife, she really picked me up. It was like the godsend. She just picked me up, and she made me feel like living again. I had just about given up. Not in a fate. I don't mean like go in the corner and leave the note, but I had just stopped caring. It was like the only thing keeping me going was my family. I just didn't care anymore. It was like I was really devastated. Been some hard stuff going on. And, when you come into a family, then, there's, they don't know me. It was wonderful people. It's just you're new, what's this guy's intentions, me and Lynn, that's why me and Lynn, we went and got married alone. We didn't invite nobody because, there was, from my side, they didn't know Lynn, and who's this young lady taking over my family. And then they were looking at me, and Lord knows I was so thin back then. Lynn always said, if a good wind comes up, you just blowed you away. She said, I got to fatten you up. She did a pretty good job, a little too good. But anyway, she just really breathed life into me. And we were talking about marriage way before anybody, I know her mom or mama's worried, he's going to leave you. No, she didn't know. And Lynn said, no, he's not going to do that. And the day we got married, it was like, it was like the Godfather. You get the kiss of the hand, It's like he's in the family now, But I remember the night, so it was someone else died. I won't say the name. And I was there. And anyway, it was it was one of those weird nights, weird in that God just speaks to your heart and you just know. We had been to church. We come home or come to our moms and God said, don't leave. That's all I know. God said, don't leave. Me and Lynn back in those days, we drove 2 different vehicles to church. There's reasons for that. I mean, Lynn always would get home, get the boys, or get dinner ready if it was a Sunday or if it was a Wednesday, get them in bed. You know me, I'm the talker. I'm sitting around talking to the preacher and all the people mid lockdown, and I'd come home. That night, we were kind of right behind each other, and we went to our moms. And anyway, I'm getting to it. Got to kind of tell the story a little bit. But I remember Lynn said, "Are you ready to go?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll be alone." And she looked at me, and I gave her that. That's the wonderful thing about being married. You can look at each other, and you just know. You don't have to. Doesn't have to be said. And I looked at her, and I said, "I'll be alone." And she was like, "Okay." She knew. And so your mom, Amber, if you're still out there, your mom picked up on that. She had a fun, and it was really hard on her. Really, really, really hard because I think it scared her a little bit because she knew she kind of felt like what was fixing to happen, and I felt like this person was going to pass. Is what it was, and there was another person there, your dad, and he knew the same thing, so we stayed. Anyway, that's what happened. It was it's hard. It's a hard thing. I won't go through all that, but a lot of the family was in other rooms. Nobody wants to be around that unless you. It's hard. So we kind of took the lead and worked with, hospice and funeral homes and all. That's a hard thing. I know. I just went through it. And anyway, it's a strange comment in a way, but comments can be revealing, And I listen. Any family you go through stuff, and sometimes there's hard feelings. Sometimes it can just be a weird dynamic. And I'm not perfect, and I make mistakes too, but. Anyway, I remember your mom, Paulette, she comes in the room and she said, "You knew, didn't you?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know that." But she said, "But you knew something was happening." And I said, "Well, I will, because I don't take credit for nothing. I mean, I don't know nothing. I'm a knucklehead." And I said, "Well, I would just give credit to the Lord." I said, "I've felt like in my heart. And I know what I heard. Stay, just stay." I felt like it was serious, And Lynn knew. She told me later. She said, I knew it. When you said that, I knew it." So, but then she said the most strange thing. She said, "You're a good man, Dave. You're a good man." She said, "I don't care what anybody ever says about you." I was thinking, somebody's been bumping the gums about me, She said, "You're a good man." That's all she could say. And she was in tears. I'll never forget that night. It was such a, like I said, anything when you're going through something like that, it's so highlighted. Every little thing is, thank you, my boy. Appreciate you. Okay. Your car? Oh, okay. Uh, oh, yeah, yeah. But anyway, um, I'll never forget that. It was like, okay, maybe I'm just now getting in the family. Listen, we were all wild. We had came through a tough time, I mean, we were all a little crazy, when none of us were going to church at one time, and good people, but you make mistakes, And so it's just a give and take kind of thing. And we there's certainly a lot of stories there. There's stories I can never tell, They just have to. He just stepped out. He's got to change a light on his car. But yes, that was my son Jeremy that come in. Y'all pray for him. He's been really struggling. Bless his heart. That was his buddy. His mom. It was his mom, but it was his buddy. They went everywhere together. So I've been asking people to pray for him. He seems to be a good way tonight. He's been a tremendous help. I can't even begin to say just what kind of help he has been. So, but anyway, when you go through something and you look like what's now, like there's a fork in the road. One of the forks are gone now, so you just got to go. And I've always said I'm not a sit on the side of the road kind of guy. Move forward, difficult as it may be. Sometimes I'll stop and you take a rest and you just take in the scene and then you move on. It reminds me of that time my son Jeremy taught me into climbing Klingman's Dome up in Gatlinburg, and about halfway up, I said, "I should kill you," because he's like, "Come on, Dad, let's go to the top." I was a lot younger then, and yes, he did, Broski, and that is a whole nother blessing. One of the most powerful things I've ever seen. It cost us about $500 altogether. And hey, we had people give towards that. I ain't even had a chance to get back with all of them. People just were so moved by it. They gave us money. We didn't ask nobody for anything, but I said, my sister went ahead and paid for it up front. And I said, just give it back to her. So some of that's already been paid back. And when she gets back in June, we'll give her the rest of it. But yeah, we had to work through county and we had to work through the prison. They were great along the way. I got nothing but good things to say, but to set that scene, I mean, we knew when he was coming in, and we knew he had left. They told me a lot of details. But anyway, when he gets there, the whole scene changed. Everybody, if you weren't crying by that time, you were when he came in. It's difficult, I mean, he had not seen his mom in a year, and I can't imagine what that. I can't even imagine. But anyway, the officer was beyond compassionate, and he let me hug him. He said, "I can't let everybody." He said, "Your son needs comfort," and he let me hug him, and him hug me, and he didn't have to do that. I mean, he said, "I'm having a tough time here. This is not really procedure," but I remember one time there was that little scene in Andy Griffith when Barney, Mr. By the Book, and they bring his words back and use them on him. And Barney says those famous words about Andy. He said, "I run my mouth a lot," but he says, "Andy's been trying to teach me something, basically this whole time, that sometimes you don't go so much by the law, but by the heart." And that's exactly what I would say happened that day. It didn't go by the law or the book or the procedure, but it went by the heart. And I've talked to the preacher that preached it. He's a very good friend of mine and church man. He told me the following Sunday. He said, "He's a good man." I said, "Dave, I'm telling you, he's a good man." I got to talk to him a little bit. And so you just find grace, and you find compassion, and you find so many things that happen that you would not have seen if you hadn't made that journey. It's a give and take. Like, you hate the journey, you really do. I mean, who likes a funeral? I mean, who likes going through all this stuff? But in that, you find so much grace and so much blessing. And that's the way it is in this journey with God. When you walk through the valleys, you learn more about yourself in the valleys than you ever do on the mountain. Because the mountain's easy. The valleys kick your butt. The valleys take you down. It's dark, it's dreary, it hurts. It's all those things. It's your valley, whatever you're going through, it's hard. But when you get on the other side of it and you're back up on the mountain, you look back and you just see all these wonderful things, and the pain. I mean, it's still there, but you see things you just never would see before, And I don't know totally the mind of God. Who could? He's God. I'm not. But I do know God answers prayer. Now, he'll answer them according to his will, but he does answer prayer. And there were two things I asked God for through all this. I mean, obviously, if Lynn could be healed and live for years or just whatever shape that was, then I said two things. If you must take, two things I want here. I don't want her to ever go in a nursing home because she doesn't. I didn't want it, and she didn't want it. And I gave her my vow that I would fight hell by the acre if that's what it took to make sure it didn't happen. We had some drastic things that we were already talking about doing to make sure that didn't happen. I mean, drastic, like selling our home and stuff. I mean, I was prepared. Like I promised her in the bed, like, looking down at her like, you're not going, you're not going. I said, just kick that out of your mind. Don't worry about it. I'll fight through. And then the second was I just didn't want my wife gasping for air. Some people go out like, can't handle that. My mom did that a little bit at times in her life. And I said, I just don't want her doing that. And just take, if before that happens, just take her. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. So she didn't suffer. She didn't go through agony and massive agony and pain and all those kind of things. She, screaming at, some people cancer, but and I get it. So, and here's the why. There's a scripture I'm going to share tomorrow for First Light that kind of talks about this, the new show First Light. And I'm not saying that he answered mine over somebody else. You get all these people and they're just trying to pick you to death. But I just know that all the way through this, God had his hand on this whole thing. There were so many things we didn't even know were coming our way. We had so much crap, so much stuff that were coming at us. I've never been under as much strain and stress as I was those last 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just telling you the facts. It was every day a battle, seemed like. Now, there were days that we just felt like we could breathe a little bit, but it was always just felt like you could never relax. You always felt like there was something else coming. We had people trying to hurt us, it's a bunch of crap. It's nothing but the devil. But at the same time, we had so many people coming along and blessing us. And we had people lie on us and everything. It's just crazy. I don't know. The devil is a liar and the father of it. And he's certainly doing a good job at getting other people to lie and do things. And, anyway, to me, that just goes in the grave. I'm not even ever going to talk about it. I'm just saying it was a intense time. But at the same time, there was a sweetness that came that me and her both recognized, and it meant a lot to us. One of those is that me and Lynn probably spent more time together in those last 6 weeks together than we had in 20, 30 years. What I mean by that is we worked a lot. She would go to her job. I would go to mine. She had things she was doing in her time. And I had, I've been in part of clubs and committees and all this stuff. Sometimes we were going and try to go in 3 directions. There's only 2 of us. Kids playing sports, you name it. Families go through that. And you sometimes are away from each other. You don't spend a lot of time together. Sometimes you get in late and it's, the spouse is already in bed and you're exhausted. And, sometimes they're up before you even get up. And it's hard. You don't spend a lot of quality time together sometimes because you're just so busy going. You may have quality time, but it's here and there and wherever you can grab time. That 6 weeks to 8 weeks, whatever it was, really even before that, but especially the last 6 to 8 weeks, we spent, outside of me working at my job, we were together. A little bit of time that family would come and be with her while I did podcasts, and we kept that going. Lynn wanted that, she wanted me to do the show. And I was here at home. I just had them sit with her because I'm in the studio. And, I had so many people help and everything, but I was here. I was always here. I didn't go anywhere. But we spent a lot of time together. All day Saturday. Saturday and Sunday was just me most of the time. And we just sit together and we watched all kinds of stuff. And just spent time sometimes with no TV, just sitting there. Lynn couldn't converse anymore, but she would motion and stuff, and I would talk to her. So anyway, you go through stuff like that. It's a real, real blessing. So anyway, First Light is about, everybody's going through something. And these will just be some things to hopefully be a help. But I want to, and now I let on to Amber is still listening, but I want to say I applaud her for, for so many things. But I do love that she has taken care of her mom's grave. And I know that's hard for some people to go. That's not intended to be, I've talked to others. It's hard for them. I get that. But I do thank her for, graves. An unattended grave is a shameful thing. We all get behind and stuff like that sometimes. But as often as you can, get out to the graves and keep them clean and flowers on them and stuff. Yeah, we can do that. We can find time to do that. And she does that. So, but yeah, moving forward. And, got some big plans with Biscuit Boy and Chaser. And hopefully Midnight Rider will be back in with us. He's been coming in the chat, but he's had his own problems and physical health problems. and others that are apart. We've got new things planned, and we're taking them as we can, moving forward as we can. It's not always the easiest thing. Hello, Jake. How you doing? Appreciate you. Thank you for liking and sharing from the great state of Mississippi. Man, I'm doing okay, man. Today's a good day. Sometimes it's not always. Sometimes you think, well, this is not the best of days, but um, for you, mate, it's just a hard day. But like I said, today has been a good day, and I found out some stuff. I want to tell you, I was thinking about that Van Halen song today, "In and Out." If you know that song, they get you coming in, they get you going out. Lord knows, try to take care of final things. And I went to I got the death certificates in. That was not a fun day. It just kind of hit me hard. But anyway, I went to the bank and talked to them a little bit, and they said, "I just wait. You really should wait a while." So I said, "Okay, I didn't want to make no mistakes here. I don't want to do anything that's wrong." Anyway, I went to about the tag office. I'd already got the tags. I already told them what had happened. And I went back by there today, and I forgot to take the title. My wife's name is obviously still on her car, and we got to get that removed. And she said, "Well, just bring the title in, the death certificate back in." She made a copy of it so they would have it there just in case, but I forgot. But then she said, "In $18." I know we make money off of stuff that pays for all this government. But I thought, what, at death, could we not waive that one? I mean, I get isn't there enough car buys and changes and trades and all that stuff going on with titles and all that goes with that, the register, all that crap. Could we have to hit people again? It's just $18, but still, I mean, could we not get just say like, at death, like we're just not going to hit you up on, we're going to hit you again, I was like, okay, I'll be back with the $18 and the title. I didn't have it with me. And we'll have to, I get it. There's administrative costs. I get it. I'm not ignorant to that. But boy, they gig you on so much, you're thinking, come on, at this stage, I mean, come on. But that's the way it goes, right? There's so many things at death, that are ongoing, you know. But I was like, really? We got to do that? I mean, I didn't even think about it being a charge because, I just paid for my tags. And I'm thinking this one thing here is half the cost of what I paid for the tags. We're just changing the form. Thank you, Georgia. Nothing against the ladies. They were all very nice and helpful and everything. Nobody likes to have to pay those things, but it's like, come on. But today I got in the letter that the funeral home was paid for. All that's done. Thank goodness the insurance. That's nice. I got one other thing to take care of and move on. I mean, move on. And not have to have that hanging over your head. I was, and again, when I go to the cemetery, I'm going to talk to the owner, and I'm going to see if I can get them to come on the show because I want to talk to them about a lot of things that are going on in. And by the way, the Braves beat the Cubs, broski. Took them down again, 4-1. It was tied a little while ago. Cubs are good though. The Cubbies are good. I don't hate the Cubbies. I like the Cubbies. I told her I wanted to come on, and she said she loves podcasts, so I'm hoping that she'll come on the network here, Wolf Nation, and talk about some of these things that you don't think about until it's time. And this one was a big hit because we did some pre-planning. We didn't do. We should have done more, a little bit more. And the cemetery was where we should have done a little more. And so I'm going to take care of that for me. Don't want that falling to my kids. Going to make sure everything's taken care of. That's the last thing they need to be worried about. Biscuit Boy with Sending Group. We're going to be, having some some things about helps and getting in contact with them. There's things they can help you with. In fact, when we have her in, hopefully, is that Biscuit Boy will be here. We'll talk about all those things. So, Brusky says the NFL schedule releases tomorrow night. Yay! Some games have been leaked already. Patriots, Seahawks, season opener. It'd be a great season opener. I love that. Yeah, there's always the leakers, and they do that. They talk about it. I've leaking a little bit. They do that online. They do movies like that. That somebody puts it out there online. The what they call them, people out there that put those steal them. I mean, that's what they are. They're stealing and putting it up for everybody to download. There's always somebody in the crowd that does that. I didn't know it's tomorrow night, though. Thank you for telling me that. Bears at Panthers week 1. That's a really good matchup. But I think the Panthers are a lot better, and we know what the Bears can do. Bears at Lions on Thanksgiving. Boy, that's a classic. I mean, how much more traditional can you get than that? I watch it, man. I watch those Thanksgiving games, I like the NFL. On Thursdays, we're going to be talking fantasy football with Cowboy Cook. Hopefully in the future he'll be in the studio, but he's going to be in the chat, and we're going to have some videos from him that we're going to play. We're going to talk about some of those players. We're going to start that this week. We're going to start that. It's supposed to be last week. Dave was just not ready. That's on me. I wasn't ready. I do have to go, though, back to a dinner tomorrow night, so that might be a late show. I'll get the news in, then I'll have to get. I might be able to get it all in before. I don't know, but I like doing that one late. I like the late night. I used to do that show late night. I like that. Me and Lynn, we watched a lot of sports. We were talking today about games we've been to, and we were talking about sharing some of those stories. Stuff. I didn't get to go as near as much as I wanted to, but I did enjoy going to a lot of ball games, baseball, football, others. I want to get back down to Duluth. Is it Duluth? Where the Georgia Swarm plays, the lacrosse. Dude, that's fun. I mean, that is dang fun. It's like a party in there. It's fast-paced. They got music. The sight lines are great no matter where you're at, top to bottom, in and out. It don't matter. It's a roomy place. The parking is pretty close to where you go in and out. Man, Lynn got to go. I remember I had to push her some on by that time, and it hadn't been but 3 years ago or something. But she couldn't walk a long way, so we took the walker, and I just pushed her up the hill and everything, and we let her. We had some tickets, but they weren't in the handicapped area. But nobody sat there, so Lynn sat in the handicapped area, so she could just have her chair right there beside her. So we had a ball. We've been meaning to go back, but the Georgia Swarm that's a good thing. Tickets are not bad. I got them free actually. I found a deal to get some free tickets. They want to get you in the house. You buy a hot dog or something, and we did. But that's a lot of fun. It's a fun league, and I'm going to go back to that. The Lookouts, their new stadium. I hope to go there in the near future and do some reporting from there. We'll do some stuff from inside the stadium, and kind of talk about it. That's a whole new thing, and now they're talking about. And I had this idea years ago, and they said they had it too. I'm not saying they didn't, but it looks like it's going to become a reality. They're talking about building an amphitheater down by the river, on the other side of the river. I always said this was the greatest thing. Looks like it's going to happen. A $300 million investment, 12,500 seats. Chattanooga's really kicking, man. They really got it going on. But I said that. It's too much, and there's still a lot of industrial stuff, but they need to do that. So keeping up on my text here, making sure I'm not missing anybody. But I like that idea. And I always said, I like where they're at, but I always thought the Lookouts should be on the riverfront too, and we could have the boats out there and have a big screen for them. And anyway, it worked out for what they wanted to do, and it's all good. But our music venue is not that big, and we lose out on a lot of. I mean, that would be a little bit bigger than the seating in that arena. I've seen some good shows there, but it's so cramped in there. There's not enough room for really a. They bring the scale down stage to our local. This would be amphitheater, but still, what a great thing! I just think it's going to be awesome. I don't know how much I'll go, but we'll see. We'll see. I definitely want to experience it. I've been to amphitheater in a long time. I ain't been to shows in a long time. I kind of, I got away. I was just been busy with ministry and stuff. But there's some shows I would like to go to. Yeah, the Bears. I look forward to watching them play this year. All the teams. There's a lot of questions I have about. I think there's going to be some teams that regress, and there's going to be some teams that get better. That's the way it always is. But there's going to be some that I think have been good that they may be a trend down. I don't mean like bad, like fall to the basement, but I think there's going to be some that trend down. I think that the ride is over a little bit for them, and they're not going to be sniffing at the Super Bowl. They're just going to be mid-level plus, but not enough to be there unless things fall really right. But I think there's some teams moving up, and I think there's some teams that are moving that need to strike now. Baltimore, hello Baltimore, where are you at? If they don't hurry up, they're gonna miss the boat on this of getting a Super Bowl. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that team wasn't as bad as they've played. They had a lot of injuries. They're getting a new quarterback. This guy's good. They've picked up. I mean, they've got already a really good defense. That receiver is amazing down there. Now they've added to that. If Kamara, it could be healthy. There's still some variables there, but that team is really good. I hate to say it, I hate them. I love my team kind of hate. I like my team, even though I'm mad at them. They've made some nice moves, and we'll see. And we play them twice a year, and it's the division. That would be a good. My problem is, that Mr. Arthur, not arthritis, but Mr. Blank, Brother Blank down in Atlanta. He's made it so I can't afford to go to the Falcons. Really ticks me off. They just money. He got his stadium, and a lot of longtime Falcons fans got ripped. There's no loyalty, man. It don't matter how long you've been doing it. They don't care. They'll kick you to the curb as fast as anybody. They don't care. It's all about that seat licensing and everything. It's hard to get in there. It's crazy. It's like you make a loan to go to a ball game. Me and Cook were going to go to the last Dallas-Atlanta game. It just got crazy. I just can't do it. I just can't do it, man. But we tried. Maybe we'll have one more in us. I don't know. I just sit at home and watch it on TV. But then, the president was talking the other day and he mentioned the NFL, how they're starting to charge you to watch the games. We knew this was coming. He didn't like it. He thought it was a bad thing. He said, you better be careful. Like there may not be some people watching you. They may just give up on you. But it ticks me off, and all the sports are doing it, and the NFL's bad about it too. And they got a game over here. I got Prime, but not everybody has Amazon Prime. Not everybody's got Peacock. My God, we've got to do that. And they're starting to do that, and before you know it, it's for the lesser matchups. They're gonna, may let you watch those. Then the bigger ones, they may go pay-per-view or something. Or for right now, it's going to be you got to have this certain channel. But they're putting it out across all these channels. And it used to be in the old days, it was just ESPN. Now you got ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, ESPN this. Several. I don't know. They keep coming up with new things. It's all about getting more money out of you. And I just say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So they lose. I don't think they care about the losing me. I don't. Because there seems to be plenty of people really willing and able and ready to pay. But, man, people are having a tough time. I mean, it's not an easy thing. I was going to the store before the lady that I knew hollered at me and said, hey, I need a hug and I need prayer. She was just going through so much. But I saw this little Hispanic family, and a cute little family, and they were loading the groceries up into the back of the truck or whatever it was, and fixing to head out. Man, woman, boy, girl. And I was looking at, they didn't have tons. And I was walking by, and I don't know, this is going through my mind. Like I said, I'm a thinker. And I was walking down through there, and I'm thinking about this little Hispanic family. And I'm thinking of the dad there, I think of the breadwinner, and I know that both of them work nowadays, but I was thinking about the dad, and he's, the whole family went together, and they're loading up. It looks like they're probably getting something for dinner. It wasn't like they were buying a week's worth, I promise you, but I was thinking about how much that little bit of food was in that buggy. Don't know what they do for a living. I'm thinking in my mind, hard working. And he was talking, it was in Spanish. I don't know a lot of Spanish, so I couldn't make mention. I mean, I was thinking, I wonder what he's talking about. I mean, I'd be going, man, this was hot. We just got robbed. And, I was like, God, this is one meal, But he just seemed to be happy-go-lucky, and but I was thinking, man, just this little family of four. I bet, without a doubt, what they had was $60 to $80, the few little things they got. I bet. I thought, man, it is so rough. So rough. And I just feel for American families that are struggling with things like that. These interest rates being up, that's not a good thing. Inflation, we got to get this stuff down. And we got this, whether you support it or you don't, the fact of the matter is, we got the crap in the Middle East, and it's kind of on the hold. Trump's over there drinking tea with Xi. By the way, they gave him the 4 red lines don't talk about. Let's see, human rights, Taiwan, something else. I don't remember what the other 2 was. You can't talk to him about that. Okay. I think they're agreeing on the straight. They're getting some agreements in place. But, commerce is almost at a standstill. There's a few ships paid. This is like modern day pirates. In the old days, they pulled up and they took over the ship, took the booty. But it's modern day. You will pay the fee to us or you don't go through or we'll sink your ship. I mean, it's a bunch of pirates. That's what it is, Iran. And, nobody should be having to pay for that crap. That's at their personal sea. But again, how much damage? I mean, they're not going to do what we wanted. The president's like, we're still negotiating. Their army is destroyed. Well, maybe it is. I'm not saying it's not. But something's got to happen to it. Something's got to move on. I mean, whether you hate it or like it or whatever. And everybody falls on either side of it. I'm not looking at even from politics or none of that. I'm just saying for the American consumer. And I know we have it better than most people in the world, but doggone it, we deserve even better because we are where we're at. We shouldn't have to struggle with that. Veterans shouldn't be starving and living under bridges and all that stuff. Affordable health care, all that stuff we talk about. And, I'm sitting here watching, the gas is creeping up and food prices are, off the chain. And, how construction sucks right now. Got to get the houses being built. Housing prices. I will say my mortgage went down though. I was amazed it went up twice. It came down. I was like, well, thank the Lord, something good happened. Vending machines and air pumps have credit card readers. They do. She didn't even show up to greet Trump. The media treated Trump's visit as a non-event. Yeah. Actually, I find the timing kind of weird. Like honestly, I don't even like that he went, to be honest. I don't. This is not time for the state visit, to me. And there may be. Listen, I'm a knucklehead. I'm an ignorant guy about a lot of stuff. I do study. I do read. I don't know everything. I never said I did. I try to use a lot of logic and look at what's going on, read the tea leaves, and I'm right more than I'm wrong. I will say that. So I get there's all these geopolitical reasons why they went, but doggone it, sometimes you just need to stay here, man. You just need to stay here. Tell Chi, hey, hang on, we'll be there and we can get there. Don't be, taking over anything, or whatever. And get this thing settled. Nobody wants ground troops in Iran. Nobody. If you do, something's wrong with you. I don't want to be the ships have to pay to come through the strait because that's just wrong. That's just wrong, and the nations of the world need to let Iran know it's wrong. And get this thing settled, move forward. I know everybody wanted regime, or a lot of people wanted regime change. They've damaged them. It's probably not going to happen. I mean, but there's just another guy steps up. He may be the 252nd thug, but he'll step up and take over the nation. It's sad to say, but the people ain't rose up. I mean, it's not happening. So at some point, no matter if you say, well, it'd be nice if they did that, and then, well, they haven't done it, and it's not going to happen, and we're not going to. Well, I don't like that either. I don't like it. I don't. But that was a canal that was built. This was a sea that was there. So I will say it that way, I mean, I get what you're saying, but there's a difference between something you've built and you've put, money into and loss of life and all that. You've built a canal. I guess if it cuts across your land but this is a sea, dude. This is like open. I don't care how close it is. Why wouldn't Iran charge a toll to help rebuild what has been destroyed? Because it's not theirs to do that with. It's not theirs to do it with. That's the point of the thing. It'd be like me going, hey, I've had my neighbors were rough to me. My neighbor did some damage to my house, whatever, the police, whatever. I'm just going to charge some people the toll to go up and down the street in front of my house. Same difference. You can't do it. You can't do it. Here's the thing. The money will come to them because, we're going to end up sending it. We'll end up sending it. America always does that. They'll get it somehow. They'll find some way. They'll get it. So I'm just saying, I don't think they have a right to shut down an international shipping lane within so many, just like we do. We've got our territorial waters. They do too. They have a right to defend that and do whatever they want to on that, but not an international. And we don't, and China don't, and nobody else does. We don't have a right to that. I think Russia's going to try to do the same thing over, and maybe has over there with some things. I mean, I don't agree with it. I do not agree with it. That's bully geopolitics. You just bully somebody. You just take it. Okay, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine with that being. That's fine. But you don't get to charge the waterway. You don't get to take that over. That's not Israel, United States, Iran. It's the world. The world uses that. The world, it's free. There's no charge to go through that. That's piracy. Heck no. Heck no. I don't agree with toll roads in America. I don't. Heck with them. It's bullcrap. But they did build it. The sea was built by God. It's there. You don't own it. You get to travel it. Everybody has freedom to move around. And Oman and Iran are going to split the tolls. I don't think it's going to continue. I mean, they may have got away with it a little bit, but I don't think that's going to continue. China's not for it either, so that signals to me that this thing's going to stop. That's going to stop. But whatever. They're going to cut their own throat if they're not careful anyway. Because what's going to happen is this is the way business goes. If you get screwed over in some way, business will find another way. And it's going to hurt all those people over there, because what will happen is they'll eventually move their product being built there to somewhere else where they don't have to ship one dang thing out of there except what's necessary. And the other stuff will leave because that price point's not going to work for them to have to do that. So that's, in a way, that's the capitalist system. It's like a store coming to your town. They sell it cheaper. It forces you to lower your prices, go out of business, figure out a way to change the model. That's the way it is. There's already that work going on. They're finding other avenues to ship their things out of the region without having to fool with that. And the longer this goes on, And once people get used to doing that, they won't go back and do business the same way, because they're like, well, even if it's okay now, in 6 months, it might be the same. And I know, because being a part of business, you hear those conversations. And once they make a change to something else, they're like, well, I tried to play ball with you. You got hardball, so I went another way, and we're not going to do business. It happens every day in business with something. Company tries to play hardball, another company comes in and cuts their base. You go with that, and it happens. I work in security, and I can tell you, security companies do it to each other all the time. They come in, they'll even take almost a loss to do it on one job until they get their foot in the door. And it's a game that's played, and that's what will happen here. A lot of these goods will be built. They'll build a plant in another country near another sea. That's what they'll do. They'll go to another sea. They'll just shift their product there. They're making it there, and they'll employ there, and just give them time, and that's what they'll do. So anyway. There are a lot of toll roads in the U.S. that are owned by Spain or Australia, surprisingly. Yeah, I've heard about that. I think it's bullcrap. I'm dead set against it. We don't have the higher ground or standing. But regardless of whether we do or we don't, nobody, I don't care if it's Russia sitting out there with the ships out there instead of us, or Spain or whoever, they don't have a right to charge those tolls. They do not. They don't own that. That shipping lane is not theirs. China's tried to do that crap too. They're trying to take over areas of ocean that are not theirs and trying to cut people off. It's bullcrap, and the world has to stand up on stuff like that and say we're not going to put up with it. I'm not saying that we should have been there. I don't care for this regime. I can't stand them. I think they're bad people, and there's a lot of bad people in that region. There sure is. We need to get out of there as. I don't want any nation over there that's going to have a bomb that's willing to drop it on our heads. That kind of bomb. But they got weapons. North Korea's got weapons. I don't know how much they got, but I do want, I want us out there. I didn't want us to go. What I said was, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's not have to go back for 20 years or 40 years, 100 years, whatever. If you're going to put men and women's lives in danger, you do it right. Don't be mucking around with American lives. Get it done, get the mission done, and get it done right, to the extent that you've, dealt a blow for a while, then get the heck out. I'm telling you, behind the scenes, the other nations over there, thank you, USA, thank you. Anything you can do to damage them, they can't get along with anybody. They can't. It's just, they won't cheer it outwardly, because that's kind of the code over there, but they will behind the scenes. I've read a lot of books, and there's a lot of stories that are never really told about some of the most hardcore, or what you would think. There's always somebody who needs to get. I will give you a perfect example. It was Jordan kicking the PLO completely the heck out of their nation. Get the heck out of here. That's when they went to Tunisia. Black Monday or Friday, whatever they called that. Get those people out of here. You're causing too much crap in our nation. You're gone. And they kicked them out. Sometimes there's a group, it might even be a whole nation. There's a group that's so bad, nobody can get along with them. They're crazy, fanatical to the point that you can't deal with them. It's dangerous. And so they will work with foreign powers to deal a blow to them, and they're happy about it, but they won't outwardly talk about it. They won't. None of those people over there really cared, most of them, except for a few, cared that we ever kicked the butt out of Yasser Arafat. They never cared. They were happy about it, because he was fanatical and he would do crazy things. And that, he's a loose cannon. I guess we would say it that way. He's a loose cannon, and he would do things that's dangerous for the whole. Some people are just willing to burn down the whole house, in order to deal with one thing, and that's what they don't want. None of them want that. They want their money. They want their lifestyle and their little power trips and that. They don't want somebody messing on that. They don't. Yeah, the world only likes us when they are taking advantage of it. Well, there is a lot of that. I mean, there are several countries. I mean, maybe the whole world. I don't know. And we tend to just bend over and take it, I guess you'd say. I mean, that's crass, but that's true. Yeah, they do. I don't disagree with that, broski. I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't. Again, Again, most things that happen like this are not for the flag and apple pie and mom. But if the byproduct is that we can deal a blow that stops it for my grandchildren having to deal with the threat of that, then I'm okay with it. And honestly, we talk about damage, but not a lot. The only lives lost, most of them, and I understand the girls' school and all that, but most of it has been militants, bad people. I mean, they're still hanging and killing and torturing over there. You can't stop it. You're gonna have to. It would have to be totally taken over. We're not putting ground troops in. That's not going to happen. And so let's wrap this thing up as soon as we can, and get out of there. I don't think we need any ships over there. Again, what's going to happen is if the goods are too high, Americans will quit buying. They'll go to somebody else who's making it over here, can ship it in cheaper than that, and it'll fix itself. I just don't like a country thinking they can just take over a waterway. I don't care who they are. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's us. You can't do that. That's wrong. I was never for us just going up there and taking Greenland. A lot of people are like, "But we're just going to take it." I joke about it. I'm not for us doing that. I believe in the sovereignty of things. Sometimes that's what happens in war. Sometimes you play bad, you lose bad. And there's been some do that, and we've been guilty of overreach and hammering, and nobody's perfect. I'm just saying, really, people are going to talk about the politics all the ways. It's like, should we have ever dropped a nuclear bomb on Japan twice? I mean, that's a discussion that will be talked about for as long as there's people talking. You're never going to get everybody to agree and come in the same room. You're not going to get them to come in the same room on this. And so I'm just saying, everybody has an opinion. That's great. That's the great thing about freedom. But our citizens is my point. To get back to the original point, our citizens are suffering, and we got to get this in check. We got to get it in check. We've got to, or things are going to get really tough because we were already struggling so much. I mean, really, ever since COVID and maybe even a little bit before that. I mean, things have been escalating, and it's getting bad. And so I would just say it that way. That's what I'm saying is, you see so many people and they're struggling, and these food prices are so high. And I know people are making adjustments off of that. They're eating more unhealthy because it's cheaper to eat unhealthy than a lot of times it is healthy. And people on fixed incomes, my goodness, I really do worry about them. Um, and just check on people where you can see the stress on people. There's people right now, they say, I just don't know what I'm going to do. It breaks your heart when you see people say, I'm not going to have a home to live in after Friday or something like that. That hurts. I mean, that really hurts. I mean, you see something like that. I think that would break all of our hearts. I mean, it's just tough. People, they live in an area where they have no friends. Things are going downhill. Things are going bad, and they're struggling to make it. They're struggling to make ends meet. They're selling their business. People are going out of business. Businesses are going under. They can't afford them. They're downsizing their homes because it's too much, too big, too expensive. They're selling out and they're downsizing. It's a little crazy, and it could get a lot worse. Now, thankfully, we're not living in the time of the Dust Bowl or the Great Depression or something like that. But there's always that fear that could happen. There's always that fear that things could go belly up, and then we're all in trouble. It's scary. I pray and trust in the Lord, and you try to make wise decisions, and be frugal, pay your debt off. My goodness, don't be in great debt if you can. Help, not help. If you can help it, get out of debt. You get liquid, get some things and some other things in case the money went belly up. I mean, these are all important things. Get your money and stuff. The precious metals, gold, silver, and all that. I mean, we're going to have the Ascending Group, and Paul, we're going to hopefully have a lot more information in here soon about that. But yeah, it's all about being diversified in your portfolio and being ready. I mean, there's bad days ahead. There's no doubt. I just hope it's not a complete collapse. There's always that fear. So We've got to. We need our leaders, no matter who they are. We need our leaders to lead, and sometimes they're going to make decisions we don't like. But if they can get us there, sometimes there may be things. Well, that financial thing, I may not understand, and it works out. President's always been pretty good about navigating that part. I'm just hoping that we're able to do that. But there's things at work that are affecting all of that, and we still have this massive amount of debt upon our nation. I mean, massive. It's crazy. I mean, like Australia, what do we look at? Australia has something like $1 trillion of debt. 1 trillion. Look at where we're at. I know we're a lot bigger, and but still, you can't keep going like that. And it is costing us a lot of money. I mean, it's what they say, $29 billion so far. That has cost us. That's expensive. I mean, really expensive. And it's affecting things here. It really is. And so we need to make wise decisions as a nation. And obviously, that's out of my control. All I can do is vote and pray, and those are important things. But I can't change it. I can't change. I can be mad. I can gripe. I can clap. I can do a lot of things. I can't change it. Only God can. He can only move upon men. He can do that. He has done that. He has moved upon men in the past, in the present, and will in the future. Things will happen all in according to His plan. And a lot of people have, this belief that they're going to be out of here before the really bad hits. They better watch out. Before the great and final judgments, there's going to be a lot of hard times. I told a lady one time, I just had this. This has been a long time ago, and it was during one of those times that was coming up that we went through a real financial upheaval in America. And I was telling this lady at work, and I was just talking. And I was saying, I think people need to get their financial house in order. It's going to be bad. And she listened. I mean, she was really locked into what I had to say, And she was asking me questions like, well, why do you say that? Give me some things you're talking about. Anyway, she went home and talked to her husband about it. And little did I know, but they created a plan to get their financial house in order. And she came back in about 6 months, and things had gotten bad. 6 to 8 months. And she came to me and she said, I want to thank you. And I said, for what? And she said, when you were talking about the economy tanking some, she said, I just felt like what you were saying was absolutely a message to me from God. That He was speaking through you. He was telling me, because she said, we were not in a good place. We have worked our tails off. We've got our credit cards. They're all paid off. We cut them up. We did some things. We sold some things. We got some under some debt. We were in a bad place, upside down in some debt. And she said, we're in a good spot. And she said, if we had not done those moves, we would have had a financial collapse in our home, and it would have been devastating. We'd lost everything we had. And I said, well, praise God. And she said, we're talking about all these things we're going to do going forward and all this. And I hope she was able to work those things out. Because there's one thing about it. Countries are bad about this too. Individuals, companies, whoever, individuals, families. The idea is, I'll just work more. I'll make more money, but they don't control the spending. We do that as America, and Americans do that. Credit card debt through the roof. Now, sometimes people get caught in a mess and they're just have to do what they got to do. But a lot of times we're making bad decisions just based on wants and desires, and we make bad financial moves, and we get upside down in our finances, and we think, well, I'll just work overtime. I'll work a second job. And again, it doesn't work. That model doesn't work, because you never put in check the financial spending. Like, the budget, there's no budget. It's just do whatever. And as long as people think I can pay it all and I got some left and I'm good, and they're just adding to the debt that's rising up when the overtime is cut out, you can't do the second job, health issues affect you, and maybe you're on leave, you can't even go to work, then the house crumbles. And nobody wants to hear that. But even in my situation like this, me and my wife been together for over 40 years. As we've known each other, we were married for over 40 years. And in one swift moment, part of the income of the home is gone. And so we didn't carry a lot of debt. We have still paying on the house, and there's some student loans I'm paying on, and one of the little thing I'm going to pay off. But I already was making cuts to some things to be prepared, and I've cut $500, around $500 of monthly cost that's now cut out to be prepared and ready to move forward for the future. And I'm still working on that, and still will be looking at that. And yes, if you can raise your ability to make money, that's good, and then you can pay more debt off, pay the smaller things out first. I'm not a financial expert, but I mean, it's common sense, and you listen to financial people, they'll tell you that you got all these different bills, get some of the small ones out of the way first. Then that gives you more ability to pay off the bigger ones. But get a financial plan. Start cutting out some expenses you just don't need to make. You don't have to go to get the latest iPhone. You don't have to have that daily coffee or whatever it is that you buy. You can make it at home or whatever. You start making those changes. Maybe you take a vacation closer to home. You don't go across the world. It's for each and every family to make a decision on. But at some point, your ability to make money will be over due to your health going down, whatever. At some point, you run out of gas. I mean, some people are able to make it till the day they die. Some people are just on a fixed income, and that's it. There's no more. And they're at the mercy of all these bloodthirsty sharks out there. And these people where we just roll with it and go, oh, it's a little bit more on the gas. I don't like it, but no big deal. Well, to some person, that blows their budget up. And I've said it again. I'll say it again. I saw this again today. I believe with all my heart that the rising gas prices has destroyed the local budgets of the local police. And I have noticed they're parked and monitoring more than patrolling. It's not that they've stopped totally, but I noticed they're sitting more. Those gas prices have blown the budgets up they set for this year already, because you're running those cars 24/7, and that's a lot of gas. Yeah, start stacking metal, silver and gold, and lead. Yeah, you gotta get out of get the credit cards gone, quit. You don't have to have the latest thing. Pay cash for stuff. Don't make more debt. Just really think through it. I was talking to a guy who's very smart. He works for a company, and he said in a class that I did just last year, and he told horror stories about people that are executives that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And he said, you probably have more money in your bank account than they do, because they do the same thing, but it's on a bigger scale, and it's horrible. And one of the big expenditures is family. I mean, your kids, and Lord knows it's affected us. Our son, that's expenses we didn't plan on, and it is taking a toll on us financially. It sure has. We'll dig our way out of that. Some of it's affected our credit. That's just truth. But he said this. He said, everybody. There may be outliers that don't. They can't. They've already done all this. But he said everybody can cut $300 to $400 of monthly expenses like that. And if you think about it, it's really true. There's a lot of things we do we don't have to do. We want to do it. We don't have to do it. And so if you feel like, things are squeezing you, it's getting tight, make that cut right now. Sit down and say, where can we slice this? Trim back, cut it down. I'll tell you, and I'm gonna get with them, because I do like the satellite radio in my car. And I said this, you got to watch them. Those jack legs will go up on you. I got it down to $10 a month because I cut out some things. They tried to hit me a renewal now on June 1st, back up to $26. Not going to happen. If they try to do that, I will dump them. But when I call them, they're going to start making cuts. If they don't, I'll do without it. I don't have to have it. I don't mind the 10. But if I need to cut the 10, I will. I'll just cut it out. But I've been holding on to it. I got it in one car only. These people will rip you off. Poor old Dean, they had 3 accounts on him. This poor guy was paying $90 a month or more. He got it all straightened out. Bless his heart. I mean, there's just some jackleg stuff that goes on. Hello, Barry. How you doing, buddy? I hope you had a good meeting. I think that was tonight, right? Was that tonight? SCV meeting, Gainesville, Georgia. I was thinking, man, I wish I was there. That restaurant sounded good. I'm trying to watch what I eat. I ate me a salad tonight. Trying to really talk to my health coach today. And honestly, going through the times that we went through has been rough. Watchman says jet fuel prices have surged from $85 to $90 per barrel to $150 to $200 per barrel, doubles the cost since late February 2026. Yeah. Barry says, oh, you wasn't able to go. I have some other issues. You're talking about financing. Oh, bless your heart, dude. Man, I am so sorry about that, man. Our prayers are to you, man. And I hope you land on your 2 feet, man. You know, you and your family, and I think you have a daughter there and a wife, and man, my prayers to you, man. That's what I'm talking about. It breaks my heart, man. I mean, these people are jacking up the things, and nobody's getting more, but yet everything goes up. You know what they're building more of now is these pay by the week motels and stuff. That's becoming the living hub for a lot of people. That's not good for us. We need home buyers. It could be a small home, but we need home buyers. We don't need that. Some people, maybe that works for them, but others it does not. Fayetteville condos behind our rental, and the landlord sold the property and gave us, me and 2 other families, 60 days to move. Man, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's what happens, man. They start selling because that land's worth so much. And yeah, man. And see, you're caught up in the middle of that crap. I knew it would happen one day. I just wasn't aware of what happened so soon, but we're dealing with it. Man, again, my prayers are to you, man. Absolutely, God be with you, Barry. I'm so sorry. I feel bad for mentioning it now. I didn't know you were going through that. But I suppose when you mention something, there's always somebody out there going through it. But it is true, and it stinks, and I hate it. And I hate it for you, man. We actually own some land, and now it's just a matter of getting zoning, getting a house. Okay, buddy. Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. You go show them. They're messing with the wrong guy. It's one of my favorite lines from They're messing with the wrong guy. Just pray for the best and keep on keeping on. It's sad, though. The market is just flooded. That's why the condos are so popular. Lots of drugs and pay. Yeah, it is. It is, man. Sadly, it is, man. Listen, I get. Let me say it this way: it would be better to live there than lots of places. Everybody's moving to Georgia. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Truth. But and I know people live in them, and they live. The ones they live in, they're nice and clean and everything. But let's be honest. If you're an adult, that's one thing. If you're an adult, you got the little kitchenette, the bathroom, and basically the rest of it's a little bit of living area, beds. But if you're a kid, that's tough. That's tough. It just is. You will own, yeah, yeah, exactly. That's right. The World Economic Freaks, the Forum, yeah, they're not. They want to control everything. And to be honest, they want to put a bunch of us into camps. That's truth too. So-called re-education camps. I don't think they're re-education camps. I think they're camps you don't ever come back from. Truth be known. I think they were already talking about it. And you know who they are? Yeah, we'll just move MO people to camps. They can't live with the rest of us. They're stupid. They don't know how. They don't know how to live with the rest of the world. We'll just get rid of them. That's what they were pretty much saying. BlackRock tried to buy me out. They own 90% of all America. I mean, it all goes down to a few people. There's a really good book written by one of the talk show guys. Yeah, nothing like charred locust and grasshopper. Their idea of utopia, yeah, is very much different than our utopia. Very much different. They want us to they want us to to be controlled in every single way. We all know that. Big pharma, housing, where we work, how much we make, what we watch, how much water we flush the toilet with. It goes on and on and on and on. That's why California is what it is with all the homeless there. Yeah, you're daggum right, man. And there's people getting out, man. They say, I can't live in this no more. I can't afford it, man. I'll never forget. This has been 25 years ago. He was a real son. He was the son of a Confederate vet, believe it or not. Very old man. I think they're all gone now, but at that time there were. So, I mean, Barry, you know that. You hear about the slab town where everybody lives for free, but there's no infrastructure. Yeah. Anyway, I remember we were rolling by some of the old, they were not old homes, but they were not new. And we were rolling by and he goes, hey, he was from California. He said, hey, what is a house like that right there, run right there, buddy? And I said, that house probably about 200 something thousand. He about fell off his seat. He said, 200 something thousand. He said, man, he said a house like that in California with a postage stamp, you don't even have a yard. He said would be like, 700,000-800,000, if not more. I said, well, we don't live in California. FEMA Region 4 representing with their tiny home promoting it. My gosh. We got people building crate homes or get the shipping container homes. There's people living in the climate controlled warehousing. People living in their cars, people living in tents. It's bad. It's bad. I'm closer to the end than the beginning at my age. I'm 61. But I think about my kids and grandkids. Man, I appreciate y'all being here tonight, man. It's been good to be back. I'll probably get off here in a few minutes. I'm going to do my best to be on in the morning. If I'm not, just know that it's because I just can't. I'm just wore out or something, man. I think I'm good, though, 4 in the morning. We'll be amping back up before you know it. I'll be in here be like a marathon. But I do appreciate I sleep in my hatchback and run a podcast this year. The van life. Oh my gosh. Some people, they want to do the RV life, but then they didn't realize how expensive the RV life is, and the RV got old and starts breaking down, and those things are expensive to keep up. And then your fees go up wherever you're going. Now they're trying to park those on, I won't say the stores, but you know what I'm talking about, parking lots of big box stores. They can't afford them. People may have I've seen it all, man. I mean, you got the traditional campers and stuff, but I've seen people with make their own. One day you'll own a tiny home, brusky. Well, man, you know what? Now look, when the granddaughter's gone, let's see. This studio ain't bad. Put a bathroom in it. I can make it work. Put me a little kitchen stop over there with a hot plate or something. I could do it. Now, where do I put it? I don't know. But seriously, get older, you don't need as much. My kid making days are over. I got a few years. I know you are. I'm thankful for all I do have. Yeah. I am still, I love this country. And I love the people in it. There's a fun. I'm a Christian. I love everybody. I may not like what they do, and I'll let God handle the details. But I do love. I've went out and I'm meeting humanity and shopping more because I didn't have to do that before. And I'm talking to people. I had a lady. I've seen her forever going through a drive-through in the mornings, and I decided to go through there and get some biscuits for the crew, and I got one for myself. Anyway, I was telling her, and she grabbed my hand, and she prayed with me really quick. They had me in a drive-through. She said, that's the quick one for now. She said, but I promise you I'll pray later. I said, I appreciate it. She's asked me to pray for her. And she's working at probably past retirement age. She can't afford to not work. And she has health issues and works hard. And I'm sure it hurts every minute. It hurts. That's what happens. All these retirees are coming back into the workforce. They can't make it, and they'll work. They'll work. The boomers are going back to work. You know, a lot, not all. A lot of young people won't work. They just won't do it. And what are we going to do, man? It's all going to be robotics. I get so mad. I'm going to get off here. I am going to bring the vent show back because I got so many vents. I just got to find the spot for it. I'm redoing the schedule. But you know what ticks me off? They made everybody go to the automated crapola online phones and all that. That's all fine and good. That's all fine and good. But you know, the same people that make you do that, some of those same people, if you want to cancel your account, your business or whatever, you can't do that automated. You got to call them up. And it's like trying to get a Mayday from the top of at Mount Everest down to somebody that can help you. And they try their best to duck and hide from you and they'll make it so difficult because they don't want you to cancel. That's the game they're playing nowadays. Oh, just do it on your phone. You can do everything from your app on your phone. That's a lie. They hide the buttons. They won't let you see where I want to say, stop, end, over. No, they hide them. They won't let you have them, and then they make you call them, and then you're going through 15 different voice prompts. Press 1 for English. Press 2 for Spanish. Then you go, our menu has changed, and you got to go through that one. Then you'll press a number, and then it bumps you out. And then they know you're going to get frustrated. You're going to hang up, and you got no option to speak to someone. And if you finally do, they're going to make you wait about 40 minutes before you get to talk to that person. That's the game that's being played. Watch his message. Barry. Oh, I agree. I agree, my friend. I agree. And if you do get them on the line, sometimes you can't understand them. I'm sorry, I just can't understand you. So they talk louder. It doesn't help. It wasn't the question, could I hear you? It's, I can't understand what you're saying. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. All those you just sit back and listen to this old crazy guy bloviate about whatever he's bloviating about. I appreciate you so very much. Thanks for everybody coming to the chat. I'm going to go in and spend a little time relaxing with my granddaughter and do a few things. I promise I'll be back on tomorrow unless conditions say otherwise. The weather system looks pretty good right now. My weather system. Thank you to my niece. God bless you. She's probably went on to bed. She works hard. I appreciate the kind message. We're going to have lunch one day. My treat. The data centers. Yeah, the data centers are destroying people in Georgia. There are a couple that are sucking people's wells dry, buying up people's homes, polluting the water table. Yeah, we're going to need to get into all that, man. We're going to need to get into all that and talk about that. Get back. And the PNN news is the thing. I really am. I'm going to do that. I've done it some, and you're seeing the ads for it, and I'm doing it. We're going to try to get out and do some stuff and bring people on, interview some people about stuff. I've got several feelers out right now about some things I want to talk about. I got one right here in town. I'm going to get somebody to come on if I can get him on. Hopefully I can. A lot of people commenting about it. It's something like that, but it's not a data center. But it's about the water. But anyway, thankfully in Athens, they halted the expansion of servers for now. Hey, Watchman, I was thinking, did you see Carrie Underwood with the crew? She weren't bad. She weren't bad. Interesting. I got to get my music show back up. I'm just jonesing to talk about music. We're going to do that. Sports. we'll be back on that tomorrow too. Be looking for the new show, First Lap. Try to get that done before I get out of here tonight and get it ready for in the morning. God bless you all. I do need to go. You really helped me to be here. When I came on, I thought, well, maybe I'll do 30 minutes. I've been on here for almost 2 hours. An hour and 43, almost 44 minutes to be exact. Not for me, that's not a problem. I'll go 3 hours, doesn't matter. But it's been a little hard lately. It's been real hard. You've helped. Yeah, I've heard about that one. I've heard about that one a lot. And the noise, But God bless all of you. I really, really appreciate. I really mean that. I thank you for coming in and keeping my mind occupied. It's not a good place to just think too much. You got to really keep things going, keep that mind working, and yes, take time for yourself. And I am doing that. If you've not noticed, I am. So we'll get the music rolling. We'll get out of here. Have a good night. This is the Cornbread Man. We appreciate you so very much. Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate somebody being here listening to this old man. I do. My sister, one of my sisters, she don't like my hat. My other one says, I like it. I said, it's kind of a signature now. I'm actually, hey, by the way, I can keep talking. Hey, thanks, man. There's a guy that's on the, if I ever got to go to Gettysburg, I want to go to, is it Dirty Billy's hats that's there? I love their hats. But there's a guy on one of the socials, and he talks about the video I saw. He was talking about making a replica of the Clint Eastwood hat and all he has to go through. Fascinating stuff. I went to his website. The hats are not that bad, really, from what I've seen in other places. He don't have the overhead. Some have, I think. But definitely been thinking about buying me another hat, too. But I like this hat. It fits my head and don't have to see my old big forehead. But it's comfortable, and I like it. And she loves me. She just, I don't like the hat. She said the ball cap. I want you in the ball cap. So, yes, sounds like a 90 decibels all day and night. You can hear a mile away. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Crazy. Anyway, so much we can talk about. What was it Willy Wonka said? So little something in so much time. Or he said, no, that's not it. So he flipped it back. My brain ain't working. My brain is mush, actually, man. It's a miracle I know what I know. I can even think. That's probably just because I'm getting old. Take care. God bless. Cornbread Man is out.